Like many of you, as Tony mentioned, I started several small businesses myself. First while in college, before I was 30, I had launched a successful flower company, proflowers.com, one of the leading online floral retailers that we took public. And as an entrepreneur, I really saw firsthand that there's a number of factors that go into our success. Certainly a talented, well-trained workforce, reducing costs where possible, of course a population that can afford to buy what you're offering, and an environment that really ensures that we have the ability to grow and succeed with a stable regulatory environment. We want to reduce the income tax rate so Coloradans have more money left in their pocket at the end of every month. We pay too much because special interests get too much in tax breaks. However effective your wonderful lobbyists may be, they're not as effective as the big multinationals, and we effectively subsidize big business at the expense of small business. We would like to get the income tax rate from 4.63 on a revenue neutral basis to 4.3 or 4.2, or as low as we can get. We have about $8 billion that we give away before we collect a dime. And we're very excited to be going through that with a fine-tooth comb and working on that over the next year. Finally, healthcare. That's another big expense. You know that yourselves as small business people, and your customers know that too. We are getting ripped off on healthcare costs, period. Americans should not be spending 5 or 8 times as much for the exact same prescription drug. We spend twice the percentage of our GDP on healthcare than any other Western industrialized nation, and yet we're in the middle of the pack on results. I'm excited. I'm signing our very first Saving People Money on Healthcare bill later today. It's a hospital pricing transparency bill because one of the reasons the market isn't effective in reducing healthcare costs is nobody knows what the darn prices are, and people play off against one another with different price lists. Like 3 insurers pay different rates, private pay pays 3 different rates, Medicare, Medicaid, and nobody knows. So this transparency bill will go a long way in allowing the market to bring down rates. We're also looking at prescription drug importation, modeling our proposal after the proposal of the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and of course reinsurance, which has successfully brought down rates in the individual market in about a dozen states, and where the models show that would bring down rates in Colorado in the individual market by about 15 to 20% statewide. Higher percentage in western Colorado that suffers from the highest healthcare costs. Also has the most independent and small businesses in western Colorado, right, where we have a tourism and recreation economy, a lot of hospitality and retail, and so having the highest healthcare costs on the individual side particularly leads to a greater number of uninsured Coloradans in western Colorado and others that sacrifice their quality of life to purchase insurance. We're excited to shortly be signing a bill that will remove regulations for young people starting their own businesses. It's been called the lemonade stand bill. Near and dear to my heart, I resemble that remark. I had a tomato stand when I was 12 or 13. Probably wasn't legal. Hope the statute of limitations has run out. We're hoping to remove those barriers so that kids don't have to worry about getting licenses from different authorities and all those things, and they can actually engage in business with minimum authority, which is a similar effort around removing duplicative authority around food trucks that we're hoping that we can get through this session too, so that when they're interjurisdictional, they don't have to go through several different analysis and health licensings in different areas. We're also excited about being on the forefront of implementing federal tax incentives like opportunity zones. We have hired at the state level an opportunity zone czar, and we want to make sure that our state is in the forefront of using the federal tax incentives available under the tax reform bill to foster capital formation right here in Colorado in about 80 or so opportunity zones, urban, suburban, rural, across our entire state. We also, of course, through our Office of Economic Development and International Trade, are focused on attracting businesses to Colorado, but also growing our rural economy and our Colorado for All. As we know, while we've had great growth and low unemployment on the Front Range, there's many parts of Colorado that have felt left behind. That will end now. We want to make sure that Colorado's success story is a success story for Sterling, for Yuma, for Cortez, for Rifle, for our whole state, and we're excited about the opportunity to grow jobs in our rural areas. So I want to thank you for inviting me to speak today. We want to make sure Colorado remains a great place to live and work and start a business and raise a family, that families have a little more left over at the end of every month to enjoy the Colorado they love, which often also means patronizing their local retail establishments. So by moving forward boldly with this agenda, we can make sure that Colorado is prosperous and that families aren't just struggling harder to get by, but can thrive in an increasingly complicated 21st century economy. And Colorado really is the opportunity to show a unique model in getting that done. Thank you.